You are hearing this correctly. An exploding population of Canadian super pigs are threatening to invade the U.S., with several northern states already taking steps to stop them. These wild pigs are, quote, the most invasive animal on the planet.
It's a few minutes past midnight in Avoyelles Parish, Louisiana. A soybean field stretches out flat and dark under a sky with no moon. At the tree line, a man crouches beside his truck, staring at a small screen glowing green and white in his hands. He isn't looking at the field in front of him. He's looking through it. On the screen, shapes. Warm, moving, unmistakable. Corn stalks bending where nothing should be bending. The man is Shane Kessler, and he runs an operation with a name that sounds like folklore, Rougarou Hog Control. He leans in closer to the glow. "It's looking real piggy," he mutters, one cheek full of sunflower seeds. Above him, invisible in the black Bayou sky, a drone hovers on silent rotors, feeding him a live thermal picture of a sounder of feral hogs he could never have found with his own eyes standing in that field. Now, you've probably seen the headlines calling this drone strikes. That phrase is close, but it's not quite the full picture. What's actually happening over Louisiana's farmland right now is stranger, messier, and in some ways more impressive than a weaponized robot picking off pigs from the sky. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what got approved, why it took the state the better part of a decade to get here, and why one guy with a $9,000 drone might be doing more damage to an invasive species than half the agencies chasing it. To understand why Louisiana reached for a drone, you have to understand what it's actually up against. Feral hogs are not native to this state or this country. The first of them came ashore in the 1500s, brought over by Spanish explorers like De Soto as a walking food supply, the four-legged version of canned rations. Some escaped, some were let loose on purpose when settlements moved on. Over the following 4 centuries, they interbred with imported Eurasian boars brought in for sport hunting, and the result is the animal roaming Louisiana today. Bigger, smarter, and far faster to breed than anything that came before it. And breed is exactly the right word. A single sow can produce 2 litters a year with as many as a dozen piglets each, and she can start breeding again within months of giving birth. Wildlife biologists have called feral hogs the most reproductively efficient large mammal on the planet, and they mean that almost literally. Here's what that means in practice. To simply hold a hog population steady, not shrink it, just keep it from growing, you have to remove 70 to 75% of it every single year. In Louisiana, hunters currently take less than half of that number. Do that math forward a few years, and you get a population spiraling upward no matter how many pigs get shot on any given night. And the number today is already staggering. Louisiana's Department of Wildlife and Fisheries estimates roughly 700,000 feral hogs statewide, present in all 64 parishes. Not most parishes, all of them. City parks, farmland, cypress swamp, the banks of the Mississippi itself. The animal is everywhere, and the damage follows it everywhere too. LSU Aggie Center Research puts Louisiana's agricultural losses at roughly $91 million a year in ruined cropland, torn up pasture, and contaminated water sources. Nationally, the number climbs past $1.5 billion annually, and some newer academic estimates, once you factor in environmental and ecological damage, put the true cost closer to $3 billion a year across the country. In a state built on levees and drainage canals, hogs don't just eat the crop. They root through the very infrastructure that keeps whole communities dry, weakening earthen levees one wallowing pit at a time. And in the bayou, they have the perfect hiding place. Dense cane, flooded timber, marsh grass taller than a man standing upright. A hog can vanish into that landscape in seconds, and for decades, that's exactly what they did. Conventional hunting, walking, waiting, hoping, simply could not keep pace with an animal engineered by evolution to outbreed every single bullet fired at it. And it isn't only crops and levees on the line. Feral hogs tear apart the wetlands Louisiana depends on to buffer storm surge during hurricane season, rooting up the very marsh grass root systems that hold the coastline together in the first place. In a state already losing land to the Gulf faster than almost anywhere else in the country, an animal actively accelerating that erosion isn't just an agricultural nuisance. It's a threat multiplier stacked on top of a crisis the state was already fighting. So in 2016, Louisiana made a decision that looked reckless on paper. Lawmakers stripped away almost every restriction on hog hunting. No closed season. Hunting allowed 24 hours a day, every day of the year. Night hunting permitted with artificial light, infrared, laser sighting, and night vision devices, even suppressed firearms. The idea was simple. Give landowners every legal tool available and let them fight back on their own terms. It helped, but it didn't solve the core problem, which was never really about permission. It was about visibility. A hunter standing in a cane field at 2 in the morning, thermal scope pressed to his eye, can only see what's directly in front of him. He can't see over the tree line. He can't see the sounder moving through the next field over. He's fighting a war with a flashlight when what he really needs is a satellite. The state already had one answer to that, technically. Louisiana issues something called an aerial feral hog control permit, which allows a permit holder to use an actual helicopter to locate and shoot hogs from the air. It works. It's also expensive, tightly permitted, and completely out of reach for a family running 400 acres of soybeans on a tight margin. So the idea that actually spread wasn't handed down from Baton Rouge. It came from the farmers themselves. In one parish, 8 of them pooled together nearly $9,000, not for new fencing, not for more traps, but for a drone. A relatively simple aircraft, fitted with a thermal camera, capable of climbing 400 feet over a field in under a minute and showing, in real time, exactly where every hog on that property was hiding. It was the working man's version of the helicopter. No pilot's license required, no 6-figure operating cost. Just a camera in the sky and a screen in your hand. It sounds almost too simple. Put the eye in the sky instead of the hand. But simple ideas that work tend to spread fast, and this one did, jumping from farm to farm across the state almost entirely by word of mouth. Louisiana wasn't even acting alone. Thermal optics for hog and coyote hunting are already explicitly legal across a wide swath of the South, from Texas to South Carolina to Virginia, each state carving out its own version of the same basic bet, that seeing in the dark was worth more to a farmer than any new fence or trap ever could be. Louisiana simply had the one ingredient nobody else could match: bayou. Endless, dense, waterlogged bayou, where a thermal drone wasn't a convenience. It was the only realistic way to see anything at all. Except there was a catch, and it's the same catch every single person chasing this idea has run into. There's a federal law called the Airborne Hunting Act, passed back in 1971. It was written originally to stop ranchers and pilots from gunning down wolves and coyotes from small planes, a practice that, at the time, was wiping out entire predator populations across the American West. The law makes it flatly illegal to shoot or even harass wildlife from an aircraft, with only narrow carve-outs for state-authorized damage control programs, like that helicopter permit. And the law doesn't care what year it is or what kind of aircraft you're flying. A drone counts. Which means the fantasy version of this story, an actual weaponized drone, hunting and killing hogs entirely on its own, no human required, was never legal, and still isn't, anywhere in the country. Whatever drone strikes conjures in your head, strip it out right now. That drone cannot fire a shot. It can only watch. And that limitation created real friction on the ground. Farmers wanted a faster kill, not just a better set of eyes, and some pushed hard for exactly the weaponized version the law forbids. Regulators moved cautiously, wary of triggering a federal violation that could shut the entire practice down overnight for everybody. And the criticism came from every direction at once. Animal rights advocates called it cruel, calling it night vision slaughter dressed up as pest control. Traditional hunters, meanwhile, said it wasn't hunting at all, just remote-controlled extermination with extra steps. Kessler himself doesn't even argue the point. "I know it's not hunting," he said. "It's eradication." To him, the hogs aren't game animals worthy of sport. They're oversized, disease-carrying machines built to destroy a farm, and he treats them accordingly. He said the hate comments actually come less from the animal rights side than from hunting purists. People convinced that if you didn't earn the kill on foot, in daylight, with a fair chase, it doesn't count as anything at all. He doesn't fight that battle publicly. He just keeps flying. But even eradication has its limits. Even with drones in the air 3 or 4 nights a week, from dusk until 2 in the morning, one operator removing close to 1,000 hogs a year barely dents 700,000 statewide. Meanwhile, a separate effort was stalling out entirely. 2 researchers at LSU had developed a promising alternative, a poison bait built around sodium nitrite, a common food preservative, humane and scalable in a way that shooting individual hogs one at a time could never be. The science worked in testing, getting it registered, approved, and into farmers' hands turned into a bureaucratic maze that dragged on for years with no clear end in sight. So by the middle of the last decade, Louisiana had a technology that could see the enemy perfectly, and almost no fast, legal, affordable way to strike once that enemy was found. Before we get into what actually broke this open, because something did, go ahead and hit subscribe now. We track stories like this one from across the country, the moments where wildlife policy, technology, and old-fashioned human stubbornness collide, and you genuinely don't want to miss what happens when the next one lands in your feed. But here's where it gets interesting. When you actually read Louisiana's hunting code line by line, you find something almost nobody expected. There was never a single dramatic vote banning drone use for hogs, and there never needed to be one to unlock it either. Deer, turkey, bear, those are game species, protected under strict rules that explicitly forbid using a drone to scout, spot, or drive them toward a hunter. Feral hogs were never given that protection in the first place. Legally, in Louisiana, they're not treated as wildlife to be managed at all. They're treated as an invasive nuisance, something landowners are actively encouraged to eliminate by almost any means necessary, on their own schedule, with almost no restrictions. Which means the door standing open for thermal drones over hog country wasn't a new law at all. It was a door that had been standing open the entire time, and almost nobody had bothered to check the handle. Next door in Texas, the state made the quiet part loud. In 2022, the Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission formally voted to let permit holders use drones equipped with thermal cameras to locate hogs at night and radio their exact position down to shooters waiting on the ground, while explicitly, permanently banning any weapon mounted on the drone itself. A wildlife enforcement official on that commission put it plainly at the time. Thermal cameras and drones had become widely available to the general public, and using them to fight hog damage, especially at night when hogs are most active, was simply too effective to keep banning. It became the model the rest of the Gulf Coast quietly followed, in practice, if not always in the letter of the statute. Louisiana's own regulators have kept inching in the same direction since. As of early 2026, the state's Wildlife and Fisheries Commission has been reviewing a separate rule that would let certified operators fly drones to help recover wounded deer and bear after a legal shot, provided the drone carries no weapon and leaves immediately if it finds a live animal. It's a different species and a different purpose, but the pattern is unmistakable. Drones are steadily working their way into Louisiana's outdoors, one narrow, carefully worded exception at a time. And what nobody saw coming was just how effective seeing, without shooting, could actually be. On one South Texas ranch, leaked footage showed a drone crew locating and clearing 47 hogs in 18 minutes flat. The drone itself never fired a single shot. It didn't need to. It found every animal in the sounder before a single one could scatter into cover, and handed the ground team a clean, coordinated shot on each one before the hogs even knew they'd been spotted. That's the number that broke the old model. Not a kill count racked up by a machine, a find rate no human standing alone in a dark field could ever hope to match. Back in Louisiana, Kessler's numbers tell the exact same story from a different angle. Roughly 1,000 hogs a year, from one man, one truck, and one drone, a total that would have taken an entire hunting party working full seasons before thermal optics existed. Even his online following grew with the footage. Tens of thousands of people watching the green and white glow of heat signatures scatter across a cornfield at 2 in the morning. The strike everyone assumed Louisiana approved was never a weapon. It was coordination. Eyes in the sky, finding what boots on the ground could never find alone in the cane and the cypress. Multiply that pattern across 64 parishes, and the picture starts to shift in a real way. Operators using thermal drones report removing several times more hogs per outing than they ever could working the ground alone, because the single biggest bottleneck in hog control was never actually the shot. It was the search. And now the search takes minutes instead of hours. Statewide harvest still falls short of that 70 to 75% target needed to shrink the population overall, but the gap is closing fastest in exactly the places using this technology. The payoff isn't just fewer hogs on a spreadsheet. It's protected cropland in a state where a single sounder can flatten an acre of soybeans in one night of rooting. It's protected levees and drainage infrastructure in a state sitting mostly below sea level, where a hog's wallowing can open a breach that costs far more to repair than the animal itself ever cost in crops. It's reduced disease risk, since feral hogs carry pathogens like brucellosis and pseudo-rabies that can jump straight from a wild sounder into a neighbor's livestock herd. For scale, Texas, with its much larger hog population, reports damage north of $870 million a year, a number Louisiana is determined not to grow into as its own population keeps climbing. And on the science side, that stalled sodium nitrite bait program is still moving forward in the background, offering a possible second front that could someday work alongside the drones rather than instead of them. Zoom out even further, and this fits into something much bigger happening nationally. Since 2014, a federal effort called the National Feral Swine Damage Management Program has removed more than 570,000 hogs across the country and eliminated the species entirely in 5 states where it once had a foothold, while a related pilot program has been credited with protecting over $40 billion in agricultural and ecological resources since it began. Louisiana's Bayou remains one of the hardest fronts in that entire fight. Dense, wet, endless cover that no drone or bullet can fully erase. Total victory here, anytime soon, isn't realistic, and nobody serious is claiming otherwise. But the combination running through Louisiana right now, thermal eyes in the sky, trained shooters on the ground, and slow-moving science working the edges, represents the single biggest jump in efficiency this fight has seen in decades. There's something strange about all this, if you actually sit with it for a second. Military-grade thermal optics. Aircraft regulated by federal aviation law written to protect wolves. All of it aimed in the end at an animal that first walked off a Spanish ship 500 years ago and simply never stopped multiplying since. We built this problem ourselves, centuries before drones ever existed. And now we're building increasingly sophisticated tools just to hold the line against it in a swamp we can barely walk through on foot. No missile, no autonomous kill switch. Just a camera, a screen, and a farmer willing to stay up until 2 in the morning to protect land his family has worked for generations. Which leaves a question worth sitting with long after the video ends. Kessler doesn't call what he does hunting anymore. He calls it eradication. And when the animal in question isn't native, isn't protected, and is actively tearing apart the land underneath it, maybe he's right to draw that distinction so bluntly. So here's what I actually want to know from you. Does it still count as hunting when the target isn't wildlife at all, but a self-replicating problem we created and now can't stop? Or has the Bayou quietly redefined what that word even means for everyone using a thermal drone tonight? Drop your answer down in the comments. I read every single one, and I genuinely want to hear where you land on this.